Coming up on OU Nightly. Breaking news. The manhunt for an accused killer is over. We're live with the latest.
And coming up, we have some cooler temperatures coming to Norman. I'm going to time it out for you coming up in the show.
Plus, where to pick out the perfect pumpkin. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. We begin tonight with breaking news. The search for a man accused of shooting a Cleveland County deputy is over.
The Oklahoma Department of Public Safety says Cameron Jenkins was found dead in Garvin County this morning. Jenkins was the suspect in a shootout that killed an innocent bystander and injured a sheriff's deputy.
OU Nightly's Brig Bates is live near Davis, about 50 miles south of campus. He joins us live with the latest. Brig?
Yeah, and I'm standing alongside Rupee Road just off I-35. Right to the right, if you take a right down that road, the body was found of Cameron Jenkins, deceased. Oklahoma Highway Patrol and other agencies conducted a search this morning and ended up finding the body. Officer Jim Mollett explains how he conducted the search.
Last night, with the help of OHP and the state marshals, we got together. We decided that we were going to do what we call a grid search, start all over. So we started in close to the scene, and we started doing these grid search in the morning.
And like I said, the 6-day manhunt has come to an end. Oklahoma Highway Patrol and other agencies used dogs this morning to find the scent of the body, and it wouldn't have been found without it. The body was located in thick brush, and many people said they couldn't see it from the road or even in the field. The Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation has taken over the case, and they'll have more to follow. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brig. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he will travel to Israel Thursday as a sign of support. This is as the war rages on for its fourth day. President Biden confirmed that 14 Americans were killed and some are still being held hostage in Gaza. The White House says there are still 20 or more Americans unaccounted for in Israel. President Joe Biden calling the Hamas attack, quote, pure unadulterated evil.
We must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel.
The U.S. State Department says they are trying to encourage airlines to reopen travel in and out of Israel for Americans still wanting to leave the country.
As the world watches the conflict unfold, we're watching the impact right here in Norman. OU Nightly's Morgan Martin joins us from the newsroom with how it's affecting the OU community.
Now, the university says there are no OU students currently studying abroad in Israel, but there are many people on campus with strong connections.
But again, this is just...
I've been in tears a lot this past few days.
Professor of history Ronnie Grinberg says it's devastating as attacks between Israel and Hamas continue into their fourth day. Grinberg says she's known the tension in Israel for years, but this is nothing she's seen before.
This feels different and much bigger than something I've ever experienced.
Some of Grinberg's family made it out just 12 hours before the attacks. Her mother still in Israel and sending updates when she can.
They were taken off the plane for like 4 hours, and now I just got a note that they're back on.
Another professor in the department of the Schusterman Center for Judaic and Israeli Studies on campus says there's hardly anyone in the department who doesn't know someone impacted by the war.
The immediate response was incredible shock and second, and then I think that was followed almost immediately by this isn't just another exchange of missiles.
Both professors say innocent lives have been lost.
We can only hope and pray that they are not going to be massacred, but I don't know. Nobody does.
Tomorrow, 2 Middle East experts will host an informational seminar for faculty and students who want to learn more about what's going on in Israel. In the newsroom, Morgan Martin, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Morgan. Back here on campus, we're eyeing another fall cold front.
OU Nightly meteorologist Lauren Brand joins us with a first look at the forecast. Lauren, please say we have a few days of warm weather before that happens.
That is right. We've seen some pretty warm temperatures, especially today, but if you aren't a fan of these cooler temperatures, we could see a potential for that this upcoming week. But before I get to that later on, these current temperatures right now, we're sitting around 88 degrees here in Norman, 90 up in Emond, and then 89 up in Guyman. But these have also been fueling these allergies. So if you have the sniffles lately, that is why. And coming up in Maine weather, I'm going to be talking about these cooler temperatures.
Thanks, Lauren. As House Republicans scramble to find a new Speaker of the House, Speaker candidate Jim Jordan just spoke to the media ahead of tonight's meeting. OU Nightly's Victoria Anderson has this update and the rest of today's headlines from the News Center.
House Republicans are preparing for tonight's Speaker Candidate Forum. Candidate Jim Jordan announcing he will present plans to avoid a government shutdown, while candidate Steve Scalise continues to focus on funding resources at the border. Interim Speaker Patrick McHenry says they hope to have a new speaker by the end of the week. And federal prosecutors claim 25 witnesses withheld information in former President Donald Trump's election subversion probe, all citing attorney-client privilege. Prosecutors have not announced the names of the witnesses and have yet to reveal whether investigators were eventually able to overcome the privilege claims and receive the information. And in San Francisco, police shot and killed a driver after he crashed into a Chinese consulate. Police have not said whether the driver crashed on purpose, though witnesses claim the driver was making references to the Chinese Communist Party while fighting security after the impact. Authorities say no one in the consulate was hurt. And the American Red Cross is asking schools nationwide to bring back blood donation drives. They say a major amount of donors come directly from students. Kaylee, Joe, Emily.
Thanks, Victoria. It's a bye week for Sooner football, so if you're looking for some weekend entertainment, the University Theater has you covered. Heathers the Musical opens this weekend. The iconic 80s cult classic follows the story of a high school student whose dream to be popular takes a turn. Cast members say the show is a dark comedy, yet shines light on important topics and is the perfect escape for anyone needing a study break.
When I am feeling, like down or midterms or things are hard, it's like nice to have a little escape for a moment, or like go and watch some kind of other stimulation that's not a computer screen or studying or whatever, and listen to really fun music and funky dancing and, a good story.
There are several shows this weekend, and Heathers runs through the end of the month. Coming up on OU Nightly, today is World Mental Health Awareness Day.
Why it's important to watch for warning signs in children. Expert advice is next.
Plus, how students at OU are teaming up with the State Department to promote mental health.
The resource is available for you after this.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Mental health, it's an issue impacting even the youngest Americans. In today's Health Minute, CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on how help can start out at home.
It's a growing problem, a mental health crisis in the U.S., and young people aren't immune.
For children, we really should be paying attention, not just when there's a concern or a crisis, but ahead of time.
Pediatric psychologist Ariana Howitt is the executive clinical director of On Our Sleeves, a nationwide children's hospital initiative aimed at promoting children's mental health and wellness. She says that starts with caregivers having open-ended conversations with the child.
Talk about your hard days, talk about your hard emotions and what you're doing to cope with those.
Social connections are critical, so Howitt says encouraging kids to have healthy friendships and join in extracurricular activities can also promote mental wellness.
If a child feels like they're included and they're connected and they're a part of their community, their schools, their home environment, that they are more likely to be mentally well or handle stress better.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Doctors say mental health issues usually start around age 14, but in recent years, even younger children are experiencing them.
And here on campus at Gaylord College, the advertising agency Lindsay & Asp is partnering with the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
So where we come in as a youth culture agency is helping brands and organizations better connect with the youth of today.
Throughout the day, the agency passed out stickers, coffee, and shared mental health resources with students. There were t-shirts and posters around the Gaylord College for students to pick up and see. The next time the two work together will be during Dead Week. Coming up on OU Nightly, the leaves are falling and sweater weather is here.
We'll tell you about a way to escape the city and celebrate the season up next.
That's right. If you want to head out to the pumpkin patch later on this week, we do have some cooler temperatures. I have the details coming up.
To Sofia and Gabriel, even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Well, welcome back and happy Tuesday, everyone. We've seen some warmer temperatures here on campus. We're sitting around 88 degrees right now. Definitely doesn't feel like fall quite yet, but we're sitting around 54 degrees for that dew point. Feels around 86, so maybe just a little bit cooler than what it actually is right now. But if you're headed out tonight, that low is going to be around 63 degrees by the time we hit around 7 a.m. So it will be a little bit warmer in the evening hours, but there shouldn't really be an issue in terms of wind or rain or anything like that. We are going to have mostly clear skies. But as for tomorrow, we are going to be right back up into those 80s. We should be around 82, so a little bit cooler than what we saw today, around 88 degrees today. Now the average for this time of year is actually around 76 degrees, so a little bit warmer than the average right now. But we do have a potential for a cold front to come through the area starting this out around 7 p.m. tonight. This is what's all going on currently, but that cold front is going to make its way to the area around Thursday. Around 6 p.m. is when that cold front should arrive here in Norman, and we should start to see those cooler temperatures behind that, and we could see some potential showers in the area as well. Now for Saturday, we do have a chance to see a partial eclipse here in Norman. Yes, I said that right. Here in Norman, we have a chance to see 70 to 80% coverage right here. Now the line of path for this is really going to be crossing over Oregon, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, and Texas. 80% coverage, just a little bit north than that. But the difference is we aren't really going to be seeing full coverage. So this is called the Ring of Fire. So we're going to see just a little bit of this red outline around the moon. Now, next year, we could see the possibility of seeing a total eclipse, which is when we're going to see that full coverage of the moon covering the sun. Now for your 7-day forecast, we are going to be in those 80s for quite a while until that cold front comes right on through, and we could see a possibility of seeing some of those showers come through the area. Now there is a possibility of some stronger showers overnight in terms of it being scattered. But as we make our way through the weekend, we are going to be in the 60s, so definitely going to start cooling down just a little bit, and that's going to be around 65 degrees on Saturday and Sunday as well. So those cooler temperatures are definitely going to stick around for definitely a few days, and we are going to be having some clear skies along with that as well. But we are going to be having some cooler temperatures for this eclipse that's going to be coming up this weekend, so hopefully everybody is nice and prepared for that as well.
Yeah, Lauren, what are those best tips for us to view that eclipse?
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure that you have those safety glasses on, because obviously you cannot look at the sun directly, but we are going to be having some pretty pleasant temperatures, and the sky should be nice and clear to be able to view this as well. So it's going to be a great event.
I know, solar eclipse and great weather along with it. Perfect night.
Perfect weather.
Well, as this weather cools down, fall fun is picking up, and for lots of us, that means a trip to the pumpkin patch. OU Nightly's Liv Walbeck shows us how one family business is bringing people together this season.
Alpacas, ponies, and goats. What sounds like your average petting zoo offers visitors so much more this time of year. Paula Parkhurst, otherwise known as
Granny P,
has had her pumpkin patch up and running for more than 20 years. This OKC Metro favorite is officially open for this season and known to many as an escape from the hustle and bustle of city life.
When I do go into town, as we say, you really are very much aware of the traffic noise and things. It's very peaceful out here. And just the scenery, just to look at all of this, the flowers, the trees, the animals, it's just really a place of peace.
Whether you need some fresh air, a way to get into the fall spirit, or maybe your perfect jack-o'-lantern, Parkhurst Ranch has you and your families covered.
Priding itself as a low-tech, high-fun family place, this pumpkin patch aims to celebrate families and bring communities together by not stressing the little things.
Not making such a big deal of something that's so little, because so many things happen out here.
Year after year, Parkhurst Ranch is an Oklahoma staple and a positive reminder to enjoy the holidays with a breath of fresh air and your loved ones near. For OU Nightly, I'm Liv Walbeck.
If you'd like to pay this pumpkin patch a visit, it's located at 720 South Henny Road in Arcadia near Edmond. Today, the OU football team started their bye week by helping others.
The team spent their day building bunk beds for foster children here in Norman.
Coming up, OU Nightly's Darby McCormick has more on how the team is feeling about the off week.
Even though OU football is coming off of a big win, there are losses to the roster. More information on injuries and who won't be coming back this season next in sports.
It all can get so out of control. Sometimes you can lose your faith, you can lose your mind, lose your grip, get stripped of your pride till you don't know how you're gonna stay alive. Hey, hey, I got you. I will give you what you need, and I'll be right there. I got you back. I got you.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hello, I'm Darby McCormick, and it's time for sports. After turning the river back to red, OU football starts this week off on a down note. Brent Venables announced major changes to OU's offense this week with Andrel Anthony's season-ending knee surgery. McCain Matoyer suffered a sprained ankle during Red River rivalry, but is expected to make a comeback soon. And while defensive back Gentry Williams was taken out of Saturday's game, he has recovered, practicing as usual. Trophies keep coming for OU football as Dylan Gabriel, Walter Rouse, and Brent Venables get acknowledged for their roles in the Red River rivalry. Rouse was named Outland Trophy National Player of the Week, and Venables won Dodd Trophy Coach of the Week. Gabriel won Maxwell Award Player of the Week, Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Week, and Walter Camp Offensive Player of the Week. He's the first Sooner to throw at least 250 yards and rush for over 100 yards during the Texas game. Now that Sooners are 6-0 and going into a bye week, what are in the cards to keep the momentum going? Brent Venables lists the outstanding things he hopes to enforce on Team 129 to keep them on their toes.
We want to build a program on that. And what is that? That's mindset, attitude, physicality, toughness, spot the ball at the one, and we'll put everything on who we are from a DNA standpoint, a standard standpoint on that series right there. And that's should transcend in every part of our program. Belief, toughness, physicality, attitude, all of that.
After a loss to 10th-seeded Houston Cougars, OU men's golf came back and beat the top-seeded Texas Longhorns Monday afternoon. The second-seeded Sooners beat BYU this morning and are currently playing TCU. The Horned Frogs are seeded 6th. And for women's golf, the first two rounds at the Illini Women's Invitational at Medina Country Club yesterday have left the Sooners in 12th place. The team opened the tournament with an 11 over 299 and concluded with the 6 over 294. Sophomore Isabel Schlick is tied for 25th. The OKC Thunder preseason opener against the San Antonio Spurs was a battle between two big-time rookies. Chet Holmgren sat out last season due to a foot injury, but debuted with an all-out duel against recent #1 overall pick Victor Wembanyama. The Thunder won 122-121. Emily, Kaylee Jo. Thanks, Darby. Coming up on OU Nightly, it's a hairdo that you need to see.
How one Norman man is giving back with his long, luscious locks.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Things like grass clippings and leaves can contribute harmful levels of nutrients into our surface and drinking water. We must improve water quality at Lake Thunderbird, our main drinking water source, which begins with taking care of our stormwater. Bag your clippings when mowing, or leave them to break down and nourish your lawn. We drink our stormwater, so don't blow it by leaving your grass clippings in the street. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
I'm Abby Hollinsworth at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Oklahoma City Police Department tells me that a second officer was arrested this week. They say Bryant Holloway altered his traffic citations to get paid on shifts that he wasn't working. According to court records, Holloway is charged with creating forged documents, perjury, and embezzlement. His bond is set at $15,000. Kaylee Jo, Emily.
Thanks, Abby. It's business in the front and party in the back. A Norman native is giving back by showing off his luscious locks.
Kyle Lytle started growing a mullet in June of 2020 and is now a top 25 contender in the 2023 main event, a nationwide contest for the best mullet. The money raised from the contest will go towards building homes for wounded warriors. You can vote for your favorite mullet at mulletchamp.com.
Well, it's been a great weather day today, but colder temperatures are on the way.
Let's check in with OU Nightly meteorologist Lauren Brand for one last look at this week's forecast.
That's right. We are going to be having some temperatures in the 60s coming up this weekend, so definitely want to go out and enjoy that. And you can do that by going to the National Weather Festival this upcoming Saturday, October 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be a great time, so hope to see you all there. But looking at our 7-day forecast, we are going to be around 82 degrees for tomorrow, so a little bit cooler than what we have been. But we are going to have some rain chances in your forecast as this cold front comes through the area. But your rest of the week looks great.
Thanks, Lauren, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel. Have a great night.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep or a flood.